燃やし尽くせ。あのために用意したの。何するの？まだ分かってないのね。人間は星空を掌握する欲望を隠さない。私もよ。
Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about Himeko. She's another 5-star standard banner character that we're going to be looking at. This overview of her kit is long overdue. I'm super excited to talk about her. Her kit's really cool. Unfortunately, like the other standard 5 stars, I didn't get to play with her a whole lot. So my gameplay is very limited. I might even run out of B-roll for this video, but whatever. Anyways, Himeko, 5-star standard character, fire type, heavy focus on AoE damage and follow-up attacks. Let's take a look at her kit. As always, you guys know the drill probably. I will read off the percentages for level 1. Percentages may be different on screen. Alright, so first up, her basic attack, 50% attack as fire damage to a single enemy. Nothing special about her basic until we get to her bonus abilities, which we will touch on after her kit. Her skill is also just damage. It's a mini AoE. 100% of her attack is fire damage to the target and 40% damage to adjacents. So like I said, main target and then 2 adjacents, targeting up to 3 enemies, so mini AoE. Alright, next up is her ultimate, 131% of her attack as fire damage to all enemies, so AoE targeting up to 5 enemies, and then she regens 10 energy for each enemy defeated. Pretty straightforward. Now onto her talent. So Himeko has a counter skill, and her counter, these stacks count towards a follow-up attack. So she has a follow-up attack and it's a pretty big part of her kit. So whenever Himeko or an ally inflicts weakness break and shatters an enemy, she gains 1 stack for this charge. This stacks up to 3 times. So once this counter reaches 3 stacks, Himeko launches a follow-up attack and then deals 76% of her attack to all enemies as fire damage, so targets everyone on the field. She also starts the battle with 1 stack, so you start immediately. I'll show a clip at the end of this video, but you start the battle with 1 stack and then you shatter 2, and then it automatically does the follow-up attack. So I don't recall the exact description of this ability. You'll see it on screen right now. But I have checked, it is for when Himeko or an ally inflicts weakness break. It works for both characters, not just Himeko. So whenever anyone shatters an enemy, she gains 1 stack with the charge, hits max stacks, she launches the follow-up attack, hits everyone on the field with fire damage. Alright, so lastly her technique, it's an out of combat skill, creates a burning zone on the ground that lasts for 15 seconds. It's similar to other out of combat techniques we've seen, like Welts previously, where it creates a zone on the ground, and if enemies are in it, it triggers some sort of effect. So for Himeko, if you enter the battle while you're in this zone, there's a 100% base chance to increase fire damage taken by the target enemies by 10% for 2 turns. Moving on to her bonus abilities, so her first one is the one I was referring to with her basic attack. So with this first bonus ability, her basic attack has an 80% chance to inflict a burn on the target for 3 turns. This is Himeko's fire damage over time effect. The target takes 30% of her basic attack as fire DOT each turn. It's not a lot. I would like to note that this is the only damage over time in Himeko's kit. This may change in the future, but the skill does not inflict DOT and neither does the ult. It's only her basic attack with this bonus ability is she able to inflict fire DOT. Her second bonus ability, her skill deals 20% more damage to burning enemies, and again her burning enemies is just the fire DOT from her basic attack with the previous bonus ability. And lastly her third, when her HP is over 80%, her crit rate increases by 15%. Her bonus stats, you may have seen this pattern emerge between all the characters because there's always 10 stat boosts. It's usually 5 of one, 3 of another, and 2 of the last one. So for Himeko, it's 5 fire damage, 3 attack, and then 2 effect resistance stat increases. Alright, moving on to Himeko's light cone. Her path is the Erudition, and as always, we have her 5-star signature, and then we'll look at some alternatives. So her signature light cone is called Night on the Milky Way. For every enemy on the battlefield, increases the wearer's attack by 8% up to 5 times. So this takes full advantage of up to a full field. If any enemy is inflicted with a break, increases damage dealt by the wearer by 24% for 1 turn. You know, I want to say this is really good for her, but it's because it's made for her, you know, so obviously this is the best one. It's pretty self-explanatory, right? Attack increase for everyone on the battlefields, and her damage increases if there's any enemy inflicted with break. This is for her, right? Like it stacks with her counter, it stacks with the weakness breaks from other characters. Okay, cool. Most people won't have this, so let's look at some alternatives. So as far as alternatives, we have 2 characters that are also the Erudition. We have Serval and Herta. Serval's 4-star alternative is called Make the World Clamor. The wearer recovers 18 energy after entering combat, and ult damage increases by 24%. This one's alright. Energy recovery, ult damage, they're both good things to have, but I think Herta's is better, and that is called the Birth of the Self. So Herta's light cone increases the follow-up attack damage to 24%, and then if the HP of the enemy is under half HP, it increases the follow-up attacks damage by an extra 24%. I think overall, you'll be better off with this one because Himeko's follow-up attack is really easy to trigger. When you first enter battle, you only need to break 2 enemies to trigger it, and after that, it's only 3. If you're fighting a lot of enemies, I think you'll just get more value out of Herta's Light Cone as an alternative. Himeko's entirely like AoE focused. I don't think it's that deep. I don't think you should be like swapping them out depending on who you're fighting. I just think you'll get more value out of Herta's Light Cone. And also keep in mind, these numbers that I'm giving you are only at superimposition level 1. Remember that these light cones can be superimposed or refined. If you're comparing these two weapons from Genshin, they can be refined up to level 5. So these are only the level 1 percentages. These light cones can improve pretty drastically by bringing them up to level 5 over time. So as always, that's all we have for light cones because we don't have many options right now. So lastly, we're gonna look at her Eidolon levels. First Eidolon level. After Victory Rush is triggered, Himeko's speed increases by 30% for 2 turns. Remember, Victory Rush is her talent, so that's her follow-up attack with 3 charges. After you trigger her follow-up attack by shattering enemies, her speed increases for 3 turns. Level 2, Himeko deals 15% more damage to enemies with HP under half. Next is level 3. I know I usually skip over level 3 and 5, that's because their level increases. I figured I should just mention them so that you know what level increases they are. So Eidolon level 3 for every character is +3 levels to their ultimate, and then it's +1 level to their basic. Level 4, when her skill breaks an enemy's weakness, Himeko gains 1 stack of charge. So her skill, remember, is just that mini AoE attack that attacks target enemy and then the 2 adjacents. If you break an enemy with that, gains 1 stack of charge to her follow-up attack. Level 5, same as level 3, it adds levels. This is +3 levels to her skill, and then +1 level to her basic. Lastly, level 6, her ult deals damage 2 additional times, each to a random enemy, and this is 50% of the original damage. So it's just additional damage on her ult at level 6. Overall, I don't really know why they don't play the same, but Himeko kind of reminds me of Silverwolf in the way that their value increases as you level them up. A lot of things are locked behind bonus abilities and Eidolon levels. Silverwolf is really locked behind a lot of bonus abilities, whereas Himeko, I feel like a good amount of her value could be potentially locked behind Eidolon levels, but I don't know how she'll play. You may agree or disagree with me on that. I'm not really quite sure where I stand really. But just while looking at her kit, it seems like there's a lot of stuff locked behind other bonus abilities, so I think she'll get better as you level her up and unlock more stuff for her. Alright, and that's it for Himeko's kit. Right after this, I'm going to put some commentary versus some very limited gameplay that I have, talking about how her follow-up attacks work and how they interact with other allies. Alright, so I have a clip I want to show you guys. This serves a couple purposes. First, it shows how Himeko's counter works, and then also we can see potentially how she could be paired with other characters like Silverwolf. Remember, this is from the trial event, so I'm not sure what level everything is. I think they're level 40 with level 2 talents. As you can see, we have Himeko and Silverwolf here. So I'm going to initiate with Silverwolf's technique. And this, I don't remember the specifics of Silverwolf's technique, but it has a chance to shatter enemies, basically. And I would like to know that this, using the technique and shattering enemies at the very beginning, still counts towards Himeko's counter. So you're going to see that it's not even going to update. Remember, Himeko starts with 1 stack under charge, right? It's not even going to go down here. You can't see it, but basically, Silverwolf's technique shattered 2 enemies, right here and right here. She already has 1, and she automatically attacks. So look at how much damage is done before the fight even like starts. So we have the shatter from Silverwolf's technique, and then Himeko already has 1 stack, and she automatically does a follow-up attack. So that's pretty cool. Alright, right here we're gonna use her E. Remember, it's just a mini AoE, it's gonna hit all 3 of these. The only thing that's kind of weird about her kit is just the counter. Like, everything else is pretty straightforward. The ultimate is just damage and then regen energy. The skill is just mini AoE. The basic is just damage with a chance to inflict fire DOT if you have that basic, if you have that bonus ability. So everything else is pretty straightforward. Another thing I would like to know is, I don't know if Himeko's counter was working correctly in the beta or not, or if there's something I don't understand. But as you can see, she has 0 counters down here, 0 stacks, and she's gonna ult. I'm gonna ult, it's gonna do nothing as far as these counters. So she's not gonna get any stacks from using her ult, right? I'm honestly not sure what triggers this. So I'm gonna use my E on Scylla, shatter. So I'm gonna use my ults. Remember, Scylla, listen, don't kill me, okay? Don't kill me. I don't care how you say your name, okay? I don't care. Sealy is going to shatter. Remember, she's only single target. She's only going to shatter her. This should only give her 1 counter, but it still launches her follow-up attack. And I don't know why, and I'm sorry, I cannot explain it. I don't understand. If you understand and you know why, feel free to let me know, because I've been trying to figure it out, and I don't know why it's triggering. But anyways, you can see that after shattering one enemy, it triggers her follow-up attack. Also, these construct, even though they're not like actual like mobs, they still count towards her counter. So I'm gonna use Himeko's E here. It's gonna shatter both of these, and then she gets 2 stacks of recharge. Alright, and that's all I have to share regarding Himeko's kit. So as always, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. But otherwise, if you like the video, consider subscribing. Follow me on Twitch, where I stream almost every night, twitch.tv/smexu. As always, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.